I have bought a box of irons that cost me almost £30, including delivery. However, does the exceptionally low cost reflect their performance, or a somewhat unpopular stigma that's attached to them? Because to be brutally honest, when it comes to style and look, some of these clubs are nothing short of exceptional. But I may have shot myself in the foot with this purchase, especially at the end where I tell you guys where I got these exceptionally undervalued golf clubs, but in the same breath, arguably the biggest negative of this whole video. So let's get the box open. I'll show you the clubs that didn't quite make the cut to review and show you my top three. The cheap beginner set that I think are almost must for a lot of you out there. The mid-range set that has great style, looks and performance while still having elements of forgiveness. And then the ultimate £250 forged iron set and almost rivals PXG's extreme expensive set when it comes to looks. Lynx is the brand. £3 a club, which is ridiculous value considering I could pull all the grips and shafts out of these heads and sell them for almost 4 times the amount I spent on this box. Oh look, they've even got all head covers on them as well. God, that's got to be 50p just there. Right from the get-go, the first one we won't be reviewing, but in terms of outrageous value already from this box, a 3-iron cavity back with a shaft that costs you £20 and a grip that costs you £6. Up next, somewhat of an older version, but still a forged 5-iron, but has obviously had a tiny bit of use, and with a grip that's had a tiny bit more usage. Two of the clubs that I want to review today, including this forged beauty at the back here, and again with £20 shafts in the pair of them. Very nice little ladies graphite iron here, again great for a beginner. And the last two that I won't be reviewing today, but again decent cavity backs with very good shafts in the bottom of them, which leaves us 5 clubs, as some of them are duplicates, to obviously get out on the golf course, which we probably should do now. I couldn't quite resist bringing the 3-iron out on the course, although questionable having a regular flex shaft in the bottom of it. Oh, that is good. And that wasn't out the middle as well. Surprisingly shocked how solid that felt, even though it didn't quite come out the middle. But here's one of the big mistakes I make all too often, and I guess other YouTube reviewers do, is that I have a pretty fast club head speed. I've been playing the game for a long time, and in theory, any club, any 3-iron that I put in my hand is going to go forward and somewhat up in the air. Therefore, I have to remind myself to take off the rose-tinted glasses and think, will a complete beginner or someone very new to the game get just as much satisfaction as I did there with a set of clubs that, let's be honest, is going to cost them a tenth of the value of a brand new one? Which neatly brings me on to this beauty that I haven't hit for a long time. I reviewed a full set of these probably a year ago, and slightly different branding called the Boom Boom, and I have to say this hashtag BB, which, let's be honest, one of my negatives of that name, Boom Boom, was somewhat off-putting, is a nice smart choice, and to be perfectly honest, a great looking club. However, we've only got the 5-iron, perfect test, par 3, 140 yards, downhill. A lot of beginners will be hitting their 5-iron 140 to 160. So I guess the big question here, with a regular flex steel shaft and a cavity back iron, will this actually get up in the air with a very slow club head speed? Well, that's my version of slow. It's gone up. Let's do another nice slow one. Over the top, down steep. That's more like it. They sound good, but this highlights a bigger issue more than the hole itself. Okay, a 7-iron would probably suit there, but so many beginner golfers hit their 7-iron as far as their 5-iron. And a lot of beginners would hit their 5-iron 200 yards, and it might be the perfect club for them. However, if you're in that previous category of hitting your 7-iron as far as your 5-iron, take it out the bag and put a 5 hybrid in or a 7 wood. You need the help with the launch in terms of your club head speed. That being said, if you are that category of a 5-iron going 180 to 200 yards, look what I have for you. Not 1, not 2, but 3 of arguably my most favourite Lynx irons to ever come out. On the plus side, family Christmas stockings are now sorted. Now, apart from the fact that they need a bit of a clean, these were the reasons why I wanted to buy the set itself. And I was shocked to find out how much a set of these go for, but then also led me into the biggest mistake of this whole video. But before we get into that, let's talk about the outrageous positives these things actually have. Oh my, I never get tired of hitting these. And again, being careful with my rose tinted glasses, I would put these up there in terms of looks and performance, so close to the P790. And when I'm looking at that golfer that hits their 5-iron 200 odd yards, but they want more of a player's looking iron, they want to get rid of their offset cavity back iron, they want to experiment with something a tiny bit slimmer, well, this is your choice. You don't have to pay £500 for a 7-year-old set of P790s. This is essentially the next best thing. 145 yards left to the flag. If only I had a £3.9 iron. Oh, hang on a minute. Oh, be the number. Always play better without my clubs and half a set, which probably says more about golf than anything I've said in this video. Okay, clear the fairway. It's time to get this beauty out. Right, let's see if forged and tore actually mean forged and tore. Well, that's a good start. Shame about my dispersion. Oh, thank you. Confession, I made a mistake at the start of this video comparing this to a PXG iron. In fact, what I thought I had in this set, and I was actually looking at another job lot, which I'll tell you about where I got these from, they did in fact have the forged Prowler irons, which are slightly different to these ones with the screws in the back, hence the PXG reference. But I am not disappointed. This is different. This is aggressive. This doesn't look like, well, let's be honest, they've come from the same manufacturer. But a few things to note, even next to the Lynx VT, which I'd say more of a mid-handicap iron, this does look more aggressive. A lot less bounce on the bottom, but in terms of the leading edge and still somewhat offset for a forged tour iron, I almost feel like it could have a potential to be a mid-handicapper iron. For the majority of 12 to 14 handicappers coming down into that single figure range, for the sake of £250, what is the alternative? Which brings me on to the end of the video and where I got these from, and a huge mistake. Lynx themselves are selling these off. I don't know how often they do them, I'm sure it's limited stock, but I do recommend you save their eBay page in your watch list. Some of the putters, wedges, irons, all pre-owned, all second-hand, all in great shape from what I've shown in the video. And even though I've bought these predominantly to either move on or have in my studio so other people can test and try them and I can somewhat fit them into sets online, the downside is finding those sets. Massive mistake. They don't go for that much money when they do crop up, but you might have to wait a couple of weeks, if not a month, to find the right set for you. But there's another brand with a lot more supply, and one of the biggest manufacturers in the world actually bought them out to use their technology. And considering they're similar price to what I have in the bag here, you might want to click the video on the right hand side. Catch you guys later.